The names of Bagynanov, Doktorov, and Stepanov are the pride of not only Verkhnevelysk, but they belong to all Sakha people. It was people of Verkhnevelysk who saved Khapsagay from oblivion and made the contribution to its development more than anyone else. Khapsagay was not forgotten in our land. Long since it has been kept in its traditional form and developed further. Men developed physically and spiritually. Really strong-willed people were born here. Now they are legendary people for all of us, for Sakha people. Old men spoke that like trees sow the seeds around themselves, so new athletes surely will appear on the land where strong people were born once. More than 90 athletes from Verkhnevelysk are masters of sports on Khapsagay. That's saying a lot. And we elderly sport veterans are very happy about it. So now Khapsagay develops. It has a big future. Maybe one day Khapsagay will become the Olympic sport.
Меген сы білуден аттылар. Мен сыластығым мартардыған көтөр сүрәртен ел өскүр. Сырдык нюр бар көміс қатырықтақ қылыбачион нюр. Мен бұяңнақ қытыл бар, уйкулақ алас бар самныбат саналақ. Кәрі қыталық кыргыттар, әр қоғын мохсоғоллоттар, өскүллер улуутуян. Мен долгу жар долгуннах кылгыра сүрүк бер кас оғым, олар бу долуға күлік болан сөгөн көстер.
Buchugras was a man that everybody in our village Meik was proud of. We grew up on the stories about Buchugras. When we were children, we were told a lot about his wrestling matches, victories, and his big force. Now we are on the land where Buchugras was born. Here his childhood passed. When he began to wrestle with adults, he lived in the village Mai, in the district Bokso. From there, he went to war. Vladimir Afanasievich asked to come and suggested mounting the memorable sign altogether in the district's Ular-Olova, right in a visible place in Ular-Olova, so everybody passing by can see and know that it was the place where Buchugras was born and where he spent his childhood.
Buchugras olara hıcıbıtsırıgar Beli hergene turvaran erbet Atın Üyelerge atını turvaga Surağın sılttan sılga kühüren ihiyaga Boğurgan ihiyaga Donun sergen en hakkın Öre tutan Öre gaydi turvaktara
Yarı bunu bildiğin bu beliye biten turvara bıt
İlk yağı hellak kürekleriyem küstakların körünen kohunların komünistan sıtıyların sığmayan Samay bastımlık bolu diyen saban pistten kildirenler Duymada bir kadın tolomon yolu var toktatan tolonlar Sağalın! Diyen sana hilletin kıt yabatil erilleti hem baran inin deklistanan kebiste Ulakan kihi umut ilitin anlanan albayan atağa
When I visited this place for the first time, it was strange for me to feel and imagine the way he lived, ran over there. People told that his house was there until recently, and then there was a fire. Unfortunately, I couldn't see this house. People tell that Ular, Buchugras' father, once burned the shaman's grave. And because of that, Ular's children began to be ill and die. That's why they had to move from this place. So they saved the life of Buchugras. I got that from what people tell. There were high trees, larches, and when I saw all that beauty around, I got so excited, my heart trembled. My mother told me only what she heard from other people. My grandfather went to war when my mother was less than 2 years old. All that I know thanks to other people's stories. The fact that the memorable sign was mounted in a visible place on the land of Ular-Olova is of great importance for me. For me, it's a great joy. I was so happy. I think in 2000, I saw the picture of a man who climbed the Mount mохсоҕоллоро. In the picture, he stood with a child at a big stone which was brought by Buchugras, as people say. In the picture, the stone seemed to be really huge. Because the Tukand River bar boats approached the Mount mохсоҕоллоро and began to climb. And I think that now I will see the famous stone. And then I saw that the stone was medium-sized. I wasn't impressed so much. The stone resembled the stones lifted by the athletes at Diggins' game, just slightly square. I tried to lift it, but it was heavy. I couldn't even move it. Then the three of us tried to lift it. We could hardly raise the stone above the ground, and that's it. The stone was very heavy. They said it weighs nearly 400 kilograms. They tell that Buchugras played at this stone when he was a child. He got used to lift it. Who knows what strong people think of? So they are remembered by bringing stones or leaving marks on their hands on trees. And how did Buchugras bring here such heavy thing? It will be interesting to bring some athlete there and look whether he will be able to lift the stone. And I couldn't. For me, it's too heavy. People tell my grandfather was called Buchugras to be saved from evil spirits. In the old days, people gave nicknames to protect their children. Buchugras had light feet. He told that he liked to catch baby birds of a hazel grouse, Buchugras, with his hands when he was a child. He was fast and agile, therefore he was called Buchugras.
Buchugras practiced a lot and participated in various competitions. And they say after 2 years in the war, he died at the age of 32 of a severe wound. I learned from other people that I am the daughter of a legendary man. My family told me nothing, neither my grandfather nor my grandmother. Buchugras began to wrestle since his early years. They tell that his mother was very strong.
Ular karahalda oyunun ottav teyti verdi. Bir de oturuta kalbata.
Pakakadaman na kayakti barangay.
Oton manlık nama barahat gömdü hıya.
Çeçitam xalara hangarma bahatın. Alğas karahına barbut. Kostu kuni bitbekki ya kadın. Bere bu neregin ha? Hülbekki öte hülbekki han. Mettirettigini?
Ha?
Eyo, tikka kihi tabu. Kaya çöhebe yetemiye çöhete.
Onna 15 yaşlar kartlan.
When he was 15, Buchugras lost his mother's scarf playing cards. His mother got so angry because of his fault and kicked him out.
Sen kim ey?
Bahalay.
Kim oğlunu?
Engentay dakhil jana.
Engentay dakhil jana. Ol behin. Nebert. Beni. Çıkıyor sağın geldi. Çıkay. Çabar. Tuhun. Şirkat. Öteki bu. Vardavat.
Igor Savin, a rich man from Nurba, noticed agile Buchugras and took him to competitions on khapsagay in Nurba. And Buchugras wins everybody else there. After that, people were getting to know the name of Buchugras. Buchugras had his own trick. He could twist a birch into splinters barehanded. When I was participating in the national team of Ukraine in Alushta, we used to run in the morning, and once we tried to twist a young birch. There were 60 people and nobody could do it. Most of them were champions, including the world champions. Buchuras used to come to my teachers, therefore I often saw him. He was fair-faced. It seemed even his hair would light up. He was a strong and healthy man. My father told me about Buchuras. My father said that his body type was like mine, but more wiry, with a lot of muscles. He was reddish like Russian. He was fast and agile. My father told me that. He was a man of average height. He was handsome for Yakutia. People said that people could get into troubles when they didn't understand how strong he was. When he was wearing his coat, you could not think that he was an athlete.
Ja, ыксамар кие виккен. Араска раз жоңоты бәһә яқыны. Аныска маннык балматтык быһыламмап бо.
Оннок.
Мен поғытта қоққу хақабетті қаялары.
Ити сақаларға атырбыт бұғас бұжы ұрасты.
Bunu tuğar deşerep bıraktı.
Hatta kırpamını pırkıdım. Yem patağın mı var?
Giyden eyip bakıp bunu kaytar vallahi dedi.
Kim oraya gari?
Çıkartıp kut.
Çak. Kalkıyor ya. Bak bakayım atari. Hop!
My father used to take me to Sech since I was a child. At the time, Buchura's fame spread far and wide. People would arrive from far away on purpose to see his matches. There were no sport clothes then. Men wrestled wearing white loose shirts. Buchuras would not take too long, quickly knocking down his opponents. Once Buchugras met a Mokchanov, a young wrestler. The guy was probably 19 years old, looked tough, wiry, and strong. It took a very long time for Buchugras to knock him down. He planned everything beforehand to earn more on the next wrestling match. Therefore, he tried not to frighten his opponents, as Buchugras had a calculating mind. And the Mokchanov started telling to all the people that this famous wrestler is not so invincible. I will prepare better and next year I will surely knock him down, he said. Next summer, I went to the next Isech. A Mokchanov started to wrestle again. They just started to wrestle when Buchugras suddenly knocked him down. I couldn't even see that. Buchugras used to take the time while wrestling. He did it slowly, half power, misleading the opponent. He didn't use to show his skills at once. It was his manner.
Здорово.
Здорово.
Сәһәңге.
О, сәһәнә акчаммы?
Ите акын уласары. Кырыкакка үһәккә барарыбыз.
Бай. Бокканы ула аңардамтан котторан баранген әме туңы хыагай.
Оттон багар онтугун кандара эмейде.
Тоғаны олы аңадам бүлікі үрәнеттен бейі бағалай бұтын атын аттан кәлбіті.
Қайыллар, бейі кейбі бағалай дойдутun атында өттәп. Бейі тоқтан жомы дейілер.
Тоқсы аңардам да көріңден де жұлаты құддық.
Қая дұры оғыз көй батаған бәді хоғыр кей болла ады.
Buchugras kılla. Bu konu. Buchugras kılla. Buchugras oldu.
Bir köyde bir tavan ne kadar olur adı.
Do.
Ya birinde köy evin doğru. Güçlükler, ağırdan bağa. Ağırdan bu Buchugras. Ustalar.
People of Vilnius district bought the goods in Aldan and hired Buchugras. He was sharp-witted, quick and strong. That's why they took him with themselves. Sometimes some people on the way blocked the road. In such cases, Buchugras was called up. He easily shifted other sledge with goods and cleared the way. Other sledgemen, having seen such forts, probably could do nothing. They were scared.
Obostaqtar helleri bitti nahlar. Soltan doğru dönür bitti bu. Doğru bu. Soltan. Bölüdük attan. Ulan müstaniye bitti. Solla verin.
Yakarlar. Bölüdüm hattara. Ne sonra? Öyle seristelik. Ulan gelin. Gel.
Ulan verin sollu.
Bakalım dokula diğeri. Diğer dayan kavuz. Kimin bu? Ay! Ulanlar! Kamiler! Bunlar gittilerdi. Duran adam var, ite yolu tahtat. İte yolu tahtat var. İte siyer kapıda tükler yakamını. Çıkar kasayı barakın. At! Datu bir gittat. Siyete var da. Kadar. Bu kakta öte uçadı ya. Kandağlar ite. Bucu bırak. Toğum verdi. O bucu burası kimi? Ben bilmeyi kolladı. O kiyen bir az kopitti.
Toz kutu dolu gatta. Bülüğleri bilir.
Çıkanı sordu. Anı daha kanyabla kaldı. Ayık batı. Toda. Valla bütün töttürgenlere bittiğim vardı.
Çengene olatlar düştüme. Döner bu düştüler.
Vallahi ben bastaniye.
Ulan Kononova süreni her kurtupti.
Bu kanı büyüler ki yine tağındı.
Bunları sayındaları her kaçta köyün bahalaya kutupte. Daha bahala yolu görüktüğü hatır bığla.
Bahalay! Kıtat süreniz.
Ok tukuri, mahaldan bastaniye yerdi.
Bahalay bastaniye.
Okuruyor. Bahane. Çere, gündü doğuttar. Bu yılgı karga etengökten müppit beliyetin. Bu yataqtağı olattar kutalahılarıgar. Bastabıt bahalayga bir iskeliyete belekte tuttarıyağı gene. Ayım, bahalay. Atağın tağıgar içige sılas bulvağa. Nehliye güz sürağıttenen yaka belektir. Il bahalay, kemçirime. Unan beriye bakım. Haçcan arvat kalbiden. Ağla bak yağı. Tak doğulattırı.
Bagynanovan's force and his power was always seen. No matter winter or summer, clothes he was wearing. It was easy to see that he was not an ordinary man, but a sportsman, an athlete. I did not see Bagynanov, but I heard a lot about him. They say this man had a remarkable force, and also he was a good teacher.
With that,
I knew my teacher Alexei Petrovich since 1932, when I went to school. He got a spring in his step. His gait was light and silent at the same time, and his movements were fast. He looked like a Caucasian. They tell that Bagynanov could take the 2-pound weight in his hand and threw over a bell gun. Ivanov Alexei Semyonovich had such a fun together with him. A man of big force from nearby, he was our teacher. After lessons, they went outside and there were logs left over after building a house. They took these logs and threw them to each other. It was such a game for them. They practiced that during every break. And children seeing that tried to imitate them. I heard from other vessels during the Czech holidays that Bagynanovan's grip was like a stink of a horse. And he had muscles of a wild animal, they said. That is, he had muscles of a modern athlete like bodybuilders, really dry muscles and veins. Their summer pasture was at a small lake very close from the village, so that their voices were heard. They had a lot of cattle. Their grandfather seemed to be a tough man. I still remember hearing his orders to his family. Alexei Petrovich was a teacher. After Velusk College, he worked in Velusk. Then he worked in Magassi, in Dalir, and in Meik.
My father was a man that his fellow countrymen were very proud of. He was respected not only for his force, but also as an organizer and a cultural soldier.
We were children, sitting in the benches, and we were just jumping up when he came up to dance alone. Because the floor trembled so much under his weight and force of his legs.
His pupils told me that my father tried very much to teach them to sing and dance. And if they did not prepare and receive bad marks, my father allowed them to go home only after they had completely learned the lesson.
He taught very well. He had a beautiful calligraphic handwriting. He maintained discipline because of his strong character. We were overawed by him and respected him very much. And when he was angry, we were ready to hide in a mouse hole.
Ben katı baran görüyor, kabarı bitti. Oğlum, senin de koştan tavamakta mı? Evet, vardı bu. Var ya. Kıtat, bağlay, kıtat. Bağlayacağız. Hop, benim vahamı lavatay. Stop. Küçük. Hayır, bari. Uzarın enteyi oğla kıpsaktı. Atar. Bucu burası morcanı oha da kabiliğin dağını hita katalı. Evet. Bu kadar uçuyor, bu kadar hekken. Кытат! Атакка! Молодец!
Чобай, эппин ары бобуду туттум. Кырдык сипиппин кенне кисиякпай.
Чабат, маттаке бұрапын өрет я. Баранча дейбітті.
Оннок.
Жа, ордут.
When I got to know Bagynanov closer, he did not compete anymore. After removal of a burst appendix, it was not easy for him to move like before. Buchugras was younger than him, and when Bagynanov began to feel that he is off his game, he stopped to wrestle with Buchugras. So they solved everything peacefully. That's why I did not see their wrestling.
Böyle kısa kalbet. Bravo da.
Bravo. Onu.
O kulağın huvak gelmekten olur robot.
Bili, olgut Buchugras. Bocurabı tağa evet. İyi, ona kangas bıraktava keyde olgut.
Hatta yattı onda kanacık nam biliyorum vallahi.
Bileyim anda galyakta. Oğlum bu galleyi. Buchugras bravo. Bravo. Bilem günde.
Bilem mi?
Ya bileyim. Dudak hava görüyor. Tostlarkun tohtatarım oldu. Ondan bir yaka kalacağım oldu. Aras, John'u götü bile indir ya. Anlık.
Bagynanov was not an ordinary man. He was a man of a big force and wisdom. He taught Buchugras. They told that Bagynanov gathered the famous wrestlers and arranged match with Buchugras. So the strongest wrestlers showed Buchugras their tricks and secrets. Actually, in modern terms, Bagynanov was Buchugras' trainer. I am a son of Ivan, who was Bucherdan's brother. Right after his birth, Bucherdan was taken by his uncle Konstantin, who had no children. Therefore, he and my father were brought up in different families, though they lived in one yard. A boy was born before me. My parents planned to give him up to another family. But when my elder brother Ivan was born and got well enough, my parents changed their mind and did not give him away. And when I was born, their second son, my uncle, took me out in a cradle from my parents' house on the 9th day of my life. He was afraid that my parents would fall in love and become attached to the child and would not give him again. Therefore, all my life my patronymic has been Konstantinovich, though it should be Gennadievich by my father's name. At the age of 17, Bucherdan grew up and matured. Then many wrestlers gathered here to test his strength and agility. But there was no one like him. When Bucherdan worked in a district committee of Bagynanov, once some guys could not lift the safe up to the second floor. And the safe was iron and heavy, it weighed more than 250 kilograms. They called Bucherdan to help them. Well, I carried up the safe and put it in the office of the first secretary, my grandfather told me. And the first secretary of the district committee called 4 guys and said jokingly, "You could not do what one man did. How will you direct the whole area then?" Once in the military college, when we were walking outside, my fellow countryman Ruf Ivanovich Kardushevsky came along on the carriage. He talked to my chef, and the chef told me that he would let me go with my uncle.
Жабыратым эйкаренен татардар хавын туйдыргар улахан уксулах тустуга эйген кытыннара жабаран ихебин. Бәям капсагай дөхтөн багарабын да сияхтак кийин билдерди. Билин.
I was happy. I like wrestling. So we arrived at the horse track. The holiday was in full swing. A lot of people gathered there. But for some reason people were divided into 2 parties. On the one hand there were Tatars, on the other there were Yakuts together with Russians. Before I could jump down from the carriage, I was pushed into the center of a circle. I did not have time to look around, I could not even tell a word. They put off my clothes at once. Yes, let them do it. And then I saw a huge one, a warrior. Indeed, like they tell in old legends of Olonkhor. I was not short at that time, but I looked up to him. He didn't give me time to come round, and clasped me with his mighty hands in a second, and squeezed my ribs so strongly that I started getting hard to breathe. And suddenly, somehow, in the blink of an eye, the opponent turned to lie below, and I was above. Only a few people managed to free me from his strong grasp. They wrote in the newspaper then that it was a well-known Tatar argilla. If you want me to tell about Butcher Dan, I talk a lot with him. He always helped us, gave advice. He was a very good and kind man. He never told me anything about himself. He liked a good laugh, and he had a soft voice. It's true that big, strong people do not boast their force. He never said that he would beat that man or another. He didn't boast. On the contrary, he admired the strength of his rivals. On one wrote about their power and agility. He said it knocked them down accidentally, that he was lucky. I always wanted to ask him about a match with Buchugras, but I was afraid to bother him. I thought everybody bothered him with such questions. I didn't dare to ask. They tell that there were many disputes on the match of Buchugras and Butcherdan in Bagynanov in 1936. Probably there had to be some. People tell that match was very controversial. They wrestled in Bagynanov and Velusk, and both times they decided that Butcherdan won the match. Buchugras went to Velusk on purpose. At this match they fell down to the ground at the same time. There was a disputable situation, but they again decided that Butcherdan won again. People say that, and my grandfather answered, maybe we were equal, maybe I won, or maybe or not. He was really strong. He always told that so modestly. Buchugras became the first absolute champion of the Republican khapsagay. Then Butcherdan had to participate on the sport contest in Yakutsk too. But at that time the planes flew seldom from Velusk, so he missed it. If he had participated there would have been the real fight. There were rumors that Butcherdan himself insisted that Buchugras competed at this competition. People say that they were good friends.
Özü Spartakiyada khapsagayda her tustuğu çempiyonun baharar tübük girsi. Öğretmenler, yere bağırmış, bir ona bağıdır.
Kıyan katanken. Min onlara ne bileyim.
Vasili'ndeki temiz Stefana Buchugras.
Buchugras himself could not have won alone, I think. All that thanks to Bagynanov and Buchurdan. They trained together, competed with each other. They made the contribution to this victory. In 1965, sports organizers held the first championship on khapsagay and Verkhnevelyusk in dedication to the cherished memory of Buchugras, the first absolute champion of Yakutia on khapsagay. I don't like when they say cherished memory neither in sport nor in culture. Named after sounds better. Cherished memory sounds sadly that the person died. In the spring of 1965, there was a big meeting. People wanted to memorialize the names of heroes of Verkhnevelyusk, veterans of the Second World War. Then there was an article in our original newspaper, The Dawn of Communism, where some Petrov suggested to hold competition named after Buchugras. One day, there was a meeting. It was an early morning. It seemed on the 30th of September. It was very cold and windy on the bank. A fireman Igor Prokopy KPS took us to another bank. He managed to put 20 people in a big boat, and there were only 2 fingers from the edge of the boat to water. So, in 2 hours we reached the opposite bank at the village of Khoro. Further, we went to the village of Meik. There we found a photo of Buchugras in his autumn coat, made of thick woolen cloth, I think. He had long hair on that photo. Anyway, he didn't look like a famous champion. We had an artist, Nikolaev Andrei Vasilievich. We told him to paint a portrait with the ribbon Absolute Champion. We were strongly supported then by Yegorov Mark Trofimovich, the chairman of Regional Council. He even solemnly opened the championship. Yakuts usually held competition only in summer during Yisech, not in winter. They didn't wrestle in winter, there was no place and there were no competitions. Then on November 12, 1965, the regional house of culture was full of people. Fans rejoiced at every hour win, and we, the participants of the competition, were really exalted. The audience is the best thing. There were not any places left. Those who could not get into the hall watched the wrestling through the windows and open doors. For the first time in Yakutia, and maybe in the Soviet Union, they organized wrestling for veterans over 40 years old in 2 weight categories at this championship. I have to say, those who wrestled only in their youth, and even those who never did wrestling before, they also took part in. This champion ribbon is the symbol of the winner of the first competitions for the prize of Buchugras in 1965. We were the first athletes who were given such ribbons. We were very happy. We rejoiced much more than those who are given a car as prize today. At that moment, I felt myself all-powerful and invincible. This competition was soon held at the level of all Yakutia. It became a Republican tournament. Now it's a tournament of A category. It means the standard of masters of sport. Thanks to these competitions named after Buchugras, people of Verkhnevlys became known in the Republic. And they began to carry out the sport contest games of Manchari only 3 years later. Alexeyev Afanasy Gorovich helped us a lot. Besides, he introduced standards of qualification of the master of sports. I know many wrestlers on khapsagay. There are my classmates and friends among them. They tell about the competitions for the prize of Buchugras. I'm always pleased to hear that. At first I used to hide my relationship with him. Only then my friends have learned that I am grandson of Buchugras. Khapsagay is khapsagay. There is an old saying that khapsagay is a trick and agility. And so, when you have your own tricks, you catch out the opponent's mistakes, his carelessness. And when you use all this at all the right time, only then you win. In khapsagay, the force is not the most important thing. The first big victory brings the next ones. The years go by, I'm participating in various contests, and I'm getting more and more medals, and it seems that there are a lot of them. But this ribbon from the first competition for the prize of Buchugras is the most precious to me. This summer during the Usech, I would wear it all the time. I think that I have still get enough strength. I'd like to wrestle with my peers. You think, what if there were competition over 70 years old? Why not? Now many Yakut wrestlers come to Verkhnevlys district to wrestle for prizes named after Buchurdan and Buchugras, alternating these two competitions. One year they hold the competition of Buchurdan, the next year the competition of his friend Buchugras. Thus, Verkhnevlys people have two Republican competitions of A category. My first wrestling match, my baptism, took place at a competition for the prize of Buchurdan. There I took the 3rd place. I participated in competitions for the prize of Buchugras as well, where I also took the 3rd place. That tournament was held in his native village, Mayik. These competitions are important events in the life of young athletes. In 1977, I and Buchurdan were games of Manchari. It's a pity that we couldn't take photos of ourselves then. When I organized competitions in Ankhoi, but he could not come because of his illness. Then he sent a telegram with praise and wishes of good luck. Because of war injury, he could not participate in competitions anymore. But he always took active part in organizing them. Till late in life he helped us, visited sport contests, gave advice. The success of Verkhnevlys sportsmen both in freestyle wrestling and khapsagay is inseparably linked with his name.
I still remember a parade of war veterans on the anniversary of the city of Vilusk. My uncle walked with military bearing, tall, stately and handsome. People around looked at him with admiration. I was very proud of my uncle.
She was brought up in a well-to-do family. Some of family members had education. He graduated from a military college in Yakutsk and went to war as an officer.
In 1938, my father was sent to study at the military school Asavyahim in Moscow, where he was commissioned as a second lieutenant and was the first to pass a sniper qualifying standard test. Best of the best, many athletes, young officers and famous people of Yakutia went to war with the first wave.
I was on a mission in Zoya when the war began. I was urgently called to Yakutsk and sent to Kıйаар for mobilization of new recruits. Women and children cried a lot seeing of their relatives.
Барар болду. Сосерди. Сибилейин мейке бардакпына. Барохот кагыттар дерек таңнор неми.
Келерин келген даны аны түгүн каянда берип экел яктыра. Онда коллакына аны күрәбит дейт яктыра.
Эме донну. Дойдубун жоммун көрбүк киһиде. Николай. Мен сериттен эргиллер бер. Улаатан тустук берде болон көрсө. Жоңгор өтөр. Этеңге олордум. Ча, эге метеңге олору.
Dedi manna bar jönnek toqulluq tutu ege sağlaqtan hamnımang oqtoqtan oqtumang. Otun büyü olatların anağa çığıreni.
Then I was sent to Yakutsk, where military commissariats were created. Watching tears of people, all I could think about was that I was an officer, a man with military education, and I was sending my friends to the front, while staying at home myself. So I went to war as a volunteer.
Анчик дараба. Аны бир жагынан военкомат комостукта. Эгин көшөрү.
Gidelim. Bulacak. Nasıl açtı?
Bebeskem hobi tuttu.
Olar da Kırarım. Yapılıptır. Aptal oluptır. Ne arıyorsun?
Men qayandir gillemishlar. Men qayandir gillem.
Kış canım bıraksan, dolguya ketehe qalağın. Minemiye en kurduk, aymana tarabın, kül kömüs olattarbın. Jaqtar jılğada, ketehi ebet. Bu ümmüt atannaq, memennaq kenlerge, tuq küte. Töhede bütey bülüdyen attanın, uyulqam qamsır, hanam bolbat.
Edenger gillen gelin. Oktoman, hala aksamlıman. Zoyam totom kelerin.
At first, I got to the city of Murom. Then I was sent to Staraya Russa, the city at the lake Ilmen. Day and night, they were terrible. Bloody battles at the lake Ilmen. The well-known invincible 16th German army was being surrounded in Staraya Russa. I was wounded near Staraya Russa when I was in the middle of battle on March 14th, 1942. I was shot in the shoulder and my back was broken.
Ытыктыра жийбит Ирина. Беги өскәбит үйебит олық долгун араларда. Энни битер тоқ күтен турарын билбеппит. Бүгүн эдер сааспыт кемегер быраттарын бирге түшпүткүлүгүн белактыйбит. Петя, Никита.
Олаттарым, онуғостырым. Мен әйіні хуақтамын, хаска хамыр болан түйебім. Әйіні ағыян, хайыңы ардақ болан тоқтылы хуақ құрылуын. Мен көхіңөк сүйен нә ардақ барда, құтырғаным ғостыбат.
My father, Ivan Ignatievich, knew Buchugras well. They went to war together. My father was slightly wounded in his arm and got to hospital in the city of Voronezh. Looking for his fellow countrymen in another unit within this hospital, he unexpectedly met Buchugras. He was lying there seriously injured in the hip. He could not stand, but he was lucid. They had a good talk. Buchugras asked my father to come the next day. But when my father came to see him the next day, his neighbors in the war told him, "Your friend was sent to the east." They never met again.
My grandmother told me once that before going to war, my father put me on his chest and lied for a long time, looking at me. Maybe he said farewell to me and blessed me to become a good person. It's not easy to go to war, to go into the middle of it all.
On the way to the front, the stream ship stopped in Zayarsk, and there was a fight between recruits. People told that Buchugras and Bagynanov threw everybody around in this fight, swinging one of those people. And there were marks of their hands from blow left on the door of some house. This rumor goes to this day.
Гуляй, Вася, гуляй! Рассмеши! Ой, блин, настроение приподнял немного.
Кайдакта тулар буттан асты. Хаватам 3 күн болды. Кайтак сейләргә генә, да? Төтү бардым мен стадионнор серилердин.
Колон иде. Тургуннабы күн курдукта.
О, дактына. Бары сопут кашты. Теңдер сопут кашты бәдә.
Сәри хуарыгын нады. Ол хинтендер сопут кашты бәдә.
Ватар. Манды кына. Билейин полдарка келе багалы. Этелер эме сабат өйендер, аспызын бартын бұджақтара. Бейгер ұтты оңа. Мен маңнай кериям. Антон әйге. Тат. Негіне. Чу!
Стой! Стой! Стой, ребята! Если мы здесь между собой вот так, то что у нас будет на фронте? Мы же земляки, мы должны вместе быть. Друг друга держаться должны.
Иди вот так тоқтоқайын. Оңыма қайғанна баран әрбетін. Сәп кетер. Онда бар болу. Қабырға қайдыды. Қанақы гүл. Тоқтоқайын.
Vasilyev Alexei Petrovich, popularly known as Bagynanov, went to the front in 1941. At the end of 1944, he came back home from war wounded and barely alive. He has only just given me life and died on the 10th day of my life. Since my childhood, I was always sad that I am like my father, both in appearance and character. When my father went to war in 1941, my mother was pregnant with me, so I was born. In 1944, my father came back with a serious wound on his back. Then I was 6 years old. I guess we lived in a summer house in a place called Kulet, near the village of Dalir. I remember that some quite short, very skinny and sickly-looking man came into the house. There was my mother and my grandparents. Having seen her son, my grandmother began to cry and wail loudly. I remember that I was scared and crawled under the bed. Before my father died, they brought me to see him in the hospital. I don't remember his face. My father was lying just like that. He crooked his finger at me, beckoning me closer, and kissed me deeply. That's all. I remember nothing more about him. I don't remember my father in good health. Nothing left in my memory. I remember only that he was always ill. He was choking and coughing blood. I remember my mother looking after him. The severe wound on his back was bleeding constantly. I remember that he often went to Velusk for treatment, and he was in the hospital of Dalir. My father returned from the front in 1944 and died in the summer of 1947. I think in 1999, they called me from a military commissariat and said that my father's medal has arrived. And they gave me my father's award for battle merit. Though he's gone long ago, it's always nice to hear kind words about my father. In the Soviet period and now, my father is well known as an athlete, a soldier, a teacher. Till nowadays, they hold Bagynanov Games tournament in his native village and in the district.
We believe that Bagynanov was not only a strong man, but one of the first educated people from our district, a kind teacher of many peoples as well. Not every year, but definitely from anniversary to anniversary we hold Bagynanov Games since 1967. We keep the memory of Alexei Petrovich as the best wrestler and one of the pioneers of the khapsagay wrestling development. We have to remember such people as Bagynanov. The link between generations should not be broken.
Başta cunmurum Alexey, Akulina. Cemin bergen yediğin satabın. Beygi kayda olur ağıt. Ağam Akulina, bir tüçük ettik olur. Küçüge yoluk olur. Ağam Alexey, ölüme, ütür, giyim ol. Bunun Alexey, min ketime. Gılcırgın, karasağaya kurduk ustan kes. Onun hep jollo xoloq olur. Oğulurum, uyuda yeman. Qanda kırcaşıları uyağa. Egi akıt süppetin. Jollo xoloqqa olurum.
Three daughters of our famous father, we grew up long ago and became people worthy of respect. All three of us are alive. We are elderly people long ago, and we are very proud of our father. I am very happy living amazing life under the sky. So many roads I've been, so many songs I've sung, and so much wonderful stuff I've done. For all this, I bow my head in respect to my dear father, Alexei Petrovich Vasilyev Bagynanov, a man of strong spirit and body. I met my uncle Nikita when I was all grown up. Then I wanted to become an actress. The family, of course, was against. He was the only one who understood me and supported. I was wondering then where it comes from, my wish to become an actress. When you think about it, there was always creativity in our family of the Doktorovs. Once my uncle Nikita wrote the play Yakutia to War. This play was produced at the second Collective Farm Theatre in Nurba. The play was well written in good Yakut language. My uncle was not only a strong wrestler, but also a creative, talented man. That's why he was close to me. He understood me. My uncle Nikita was married twice. He told to his first wife, Anna Nikolaevna, to file a report against her husband, that he had left his family, leaving her alone with 4 children. Then she told that they didn't get divorced and showed the marriage certificate. They wanted to expel him from the party, but my mother went to the regional committee of party and asked them not to touch him. She was a very fair and wise woman, my aunt Anna Nikolaevna. They were engaged together in the party work since their youth and always respected each other. They contacted each other, were in touch till the day they died. They remembered their past, their friends. Some of them were distinguished people. They lived in peace and harmony with my mother. They loved each other and lived up to 94 years.
He slept very little and got up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning already. Nature gave him good health. I don't remember him to get tired. He liked to eat. They always cooked food, both in the house and outside. Something was in the process and boiling and frying. I married Radmila Nikitichna, the oldest daughter of Butcherdan. Therefore, we lived together since he was 68 years old till his death in 2007. I was like his eldest son for him. Our grandfather used to chant in the forest. His movement became fast and agile. He couldn't do hard work because of his wound, but he always tried to do something around the house. In summer we even took him with ourselves for haymaking where he tried to move hay, though he was more than 70 years old. Our grandfather helped us much as he could and then he died. He died in his sleep, peacefully and with dignity. Donskoy Mikhail Mikhailovich was the head of Verkhneveluisk at that time. He helped us to bury the old man with big honor and respect in his native village of Bagynanov. 2 years later, his wife, our grandmother, also died. We put her near our grandfather. I did some sport, therefore I can tell that I know what it's like. Of course, I'm not so strong as my grandfather. Since 1994, I practice boxing and kickboxing. Everyone was doing kickboxing at that time. It's good that I did it. It helped me to get higher education. Now there are many kickboxing tournaments. For example, the Far East tournament or the tournament named after Alexander Ivanov. I come to the training camp and try to help the guys. I hold a boxing pole and give them advice. I need to move around for a little bit as well. Just my desire to help the guys with all my heart, sincerely. Anyway, sports always with me, wherever I am. Vladimir Afanasьevich told me once that it would be just great if the grandson of Buchugras would hold competition for younger generation among children. And the winner got the Minsk motorcycle from me. People were so glad, everybody was happy. If it was not for my granddad Buchugras, maybe I wouldn't have my relation to sport. I always remember what my grandfather was like, who he was. People of the village of Maik would like to find Buchugras' grave in Irkutsk, to know where he was buried. The location of his grave is unknown. Most likely he is buried in a mass grave. Guys, you must be handworking, brave people. Learn as much as you can, do your best, with passion for knowledge. Be educated people. Our world will become even better and more beautiful.
Walattарым, onoğustorum, korsun oğlurum, Ege albana akıt can öğütten hüppekke, oy duvarana boğulan üyelerge hatarır. Ege kılıya sürbüt kıtıl kıtıgar, biligin atın üye bütün küste olattara kıyı örgöyün bileller. Kiniler emi, ege kurduk, ölbet söhbet attaq, Kıйаар mохсоҕоллоро. Korgun allar bıyannaaq kıtılbar, sığ allar uygulağılaspar, mохсоҕолу kötçöktön kötüten, ımılağı çattar, tölkölöök tüörekterin tiyere tüheren, üyelerge sürügere sıttağım ebe, men, kotun bülü.
Erkong jonga erem daga
Өлөркен уғыттан төріттәқ Үртікке жолғар ұяқтақ Көк кіріс оқтуыны ылымма Қапсағай оқтуыны белімді Ал бана тоғар қапсығы Ай қаллақ тұрғар далағы Антайто үртінен сақалы Сатары ұруйыл тарқаты Өрегөй талаңы үрттәді